Hey everyone, that was part of the live stream from JP version of DQT, tribute to the original Dai series and the famous quote, the Vearn, where he says, "That was no Kefriz, that was just Frizz spell." So Vearn's Frizz spell is so strong that is equivalent of Kefriz as someone else. So anyway, thanks for joining today. I'll be covering Dark King Vearn preview as it's due to be released for global. And joining me today is a special guest, Tsar Peter from BDS, and we'll be discussing about his kit. You can say hello, Peter.
Listen, Ortega, you're being dishonest
Why am I being dishonest?
because we already tried this once yesterday. And what you failed to mention is that I was so drunk and uttered so many expletives that you scrapped the entire recording. And now we're doing it again.
Yes, yeah, this is the second take. No, apologies, Peter, for doing this twice.
Oh, you
Yeah,
put
technical.
BDS in parentheses. That's very nice of you. Big
Yeah,
Draki Squad, the top guild in all of Global. Do not listen to anyone who says otherwise. Starfall
absolutely.
all cheat, and AW are like 98% zombies. BDS top global. You heard it first, guys.
Yeah, yeah, really good to have you, Peter. Thanks for agree to joining this video. So yeah, with Peter, we'll be discussing Vern's kit and our early thoughts on how good he'll be in the meta. So let's get started. Usual disclaimer. As usual, everything I'm going to say is based on what we have seen from JP version of DQT, and it's not guaranteed that we'll be getting the same. So
You're
please,
making it all up as you go. Got it.
yeah, basically. Yeah, something like that. Please do like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. It will be of a tremendous help.
And if you do not like or subscribe, I will come to your house and cause damage.
Yeah,
Click the
thank you so
buttons,
much,
guys.
Peter. Click the button, as Peter said. Yeah, thank you. So this release of Vern's banner marks the last and final update of what was very long Dai crossover event. So, Peter, how have you found the crossover event? Have you enjoyed it? Were you hyped about any of the units or anything that stood out from the event?
I mean, honestly, after we had a month of absolutely nothing, I would have been happy with a slime revival event. Like having anything is good. I know
Honestly, yeah.
some people are annoyed by the stone farming, but we got some cool X stages, we got some good content, we got some cute characters. I'm digging it. I'm having fun. It's good times.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think there's a lot of good things to farm, and yeah, it's not like it's a grind for nothing, right? So yeah, but it is definitely grind. I think especially for like F2Ps and people who like don't spend the gem refresh. But yeah, I think this gives us something to think about, something to spend a stamina on, which is a lot better than it was in May, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
I really enjoy it myself.
It's worth mentioning that in order to get all the friendship stones, people are recommended to do 4 refreshes per day.
Yeah.
And if you're just now watching this video and you haven't been refreshing, you may need to do some catch up. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, I agree with that point. Yeah, I was gonna actually make another video about that because I was kind of getting behind it as well. But yeah, I was really enjoying Dai series crossover because I'm quite a big fan of the series as well. So Peter, are you a fan of the Dai, or do you know the original Dai series from the anime,
Not
etc.?
really. I've seen clips and stuff that people have posted Discord. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
In our failed deleted attempt video, I asked you if it was streaming anywhere, and I think you said no, but I would be interested in watching it sometime.
Yeah, it's I think something like 100 episodes, which is quite a time sink. So yeah, I can imagine it's quite hard for people who haven't watched it before to kind of be caught up before the event. But I think there is a one kind of game coming out in September across different platforms based on Adventure of Dai. Looked pretty interesting. So maybe through games like that, you might want to try knowing the story. The story is excellent. And my favorite units like characters Pop and SB Hadler. And we'll talk about a bit about SB Hadler later, right?
And
So,
can I ask you a weird random question? Why is there a crying slime in the bottom right corner? What is that
oh,
about?
it's the crying of joy. I just put it something
Oh,
animation,
okay.
yeah.
Not sadness. Got it. Continue.
There you
Continue.
go. There you go. No, that's good. That's good. Thanks for asking that. I bet a lot of people have been wondering what the hell that is. I've been putting that on a lot of my slides. But yeah, so let's look at the banner format. So firstly, the banner format is same as Hadder and it's similar to what we've seen with Diapop and MAM. So You get 3 paid banners with a guaranteed burn, which is I think is from DQT standards generous. And then the stamp card is also, with double quote upgraded, that you get more S ranks up to 10th pulls, but 100th pull, but you do get no guarantee at 150th
It
pull.
is such bait. These stamp cards are such bait. I dropped 75k gems when Dai 2 first came out, and I got nothing.
Gosh, that's painful.
It was just like the FF crossover. Those stamps are also generous. You see all the S's and you think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna max everything in 5 minutes, and you get trashed.
Yeah.
So these stamps are such bait. When you decide how you're gonna spend your gems, keep in mind they really suck you in with these promising.
I saw on Discord somebody's crying. Obviously, he sounded like he's a F2P and he's gone all the way to 105th pool without Dai. I was feeling super sorry. I mean, yeah, I would feel sorry for anyone, but especially for free to play, that's I just don't understand why they removed this would have been perfect if they had a pity, I think. It'd still be bad. It's like, yeah, here's an upgraded stamp card, cards, and you still pity, but at least you would have got 4 or 5 chances of S running up to it.
Right, exactly.
To remove 150, cap, kind of a usual pity is I don't know what did that. That's not really fair. That will easily get me to quit the game. So yeah, I feel for people who's kind of pulled all the way.
Yeah, I've seen people quit the game because of stamp cards like this. We lost a guild member, in fact.
Oh, have you? Yeah, it's been pretty rough recently with quite a grind as well on our side as well. So yeah, we hopefully they'll listen to us and improve these stamp cards. I mean, they should make these permanent, and also with a pity. I think that's my take on this banner. I think it was good that there was more S's. It got people excited, but yeah,
there was a lot of great dragons and great trolls that people pulled on these.
Oh gosh, yeah. Just a pure absolute pain, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've stopped early, so I took the early win and I got 2 awakening pops. So I'm
well, you're lucky, and everyone hates you now.
Yeah, this is why I don't like to gamble that very deep. I'll take the early win. But yeah, so the banner format is as is. So let's look at the next thing, which is about the actual unit. So yes, that was Dark King Vearn's magic power is so strong that it's a version of Kefri's called Kaiser Phoenix, and it's a signature skill. So are you excited about Dark King Vearn? Are you planning to pull for him, or do you know his kit very much? Or
listen, I have a couple things to say. First of all, when you first previewed me these slides, I saw Kaiser Phoenix and I saw the picture, and I thought Kaiser Phoenix was the A rank on the banners. So that's pretty embarrassing. One. Second of all, and a more important thing is that I saw your reviews, and you told me that you said that Hadler is the top unit of all these. And that pisses me off because everyone else told me not to pull on him because he was the least good. And you're like, anyway. The long story short, I wanted to pull on Vearn because I thought he was the best, but I'm questioning your judgment.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, well, it's a bit of spoiler alert, but I think Hadler is one of the best of the bunch. I mean, they all have really good in say some of them blitz and some of them are a slower play, but yeah, I would say Hadler was good. So I'm hoping you're not disappointed with the pull, at least though. You're impressed with his Hadler so far.
I didn't pull on him, and now
you didn't.
I should.
Oh, sorry. I didn't get what you mean. I thought you said you pulled it anyway. Okay. Well, you still got time. I mean, we got Vearn coming as well, so there's a kind of a choice is still there, right? So
yes.
Yeah. So let's look at his kit. So his first signature skill is that, of course, he wouldn't be a Dark King Vearn without Kaiser Phoenix. and he's a Mera, is the Frizz spell. So Kaiser Phoenix is a little bit like a Zoma's AoE skill, but Frizz. So that's a very, very super strong. We'll look at the damage later. And then the Frizz is a C rank spell. That's has a 4 MP cost, which is very MP efficient, but comes with an 800% damage buff, just kind of being true to the law. So it does like a Frizz level of equivalent of spell. So that's really good kit from this spell, as a spellcaster, I think. Combination of very powerful.
Slide?
Say again?
Did you actually write LOL on your slide?
Yeah, I did.
That's so cute.
Yeah, so just to remind myself, right? And then so yeah, the spellcaster, I mean, noting though that both of these skills are reflectable. So, one might think, well, that's quite limiting. It's a frizz locked spells, but rest assured, he comes with the Calamity Ball and other martial skills, which are non-elemental. So he has that option for anybody resisting frizz or with a bounce. So Calamity Ward is a kind of Zen Rage typeless, which pushes units 2 squares away and has a small, about 20% bind chance. So
really small.
Yeah, that's a really small. I guess the main part is the 2 spaces push away. So like if enemy comes close, you push them away, and next turn you kind of Kaiser Phoenix. That's the kind of I think the idea of design.
Yeah, it's interesting, but for if you're doing like a rush strat, you can't really push everything away because the rest of your units are going to be out of range. I guess it's cool for like defense or PvE. That push, if you're doing like RTA, for example, you don't want to knock the whole enemy out of range of the rest of your units. You might actually be doing them a favor by putting them in a more defensible spot. So it's kind of a mixed bag, it feels like. And that 20% bind, like even Bianca, at least she hits 4 times, so there's a decent chance. 20% is just not that impressive.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think sometimes you want to keep your enemies close and to kind of close them up together. So yeah, gonna be maybe have to think about how to use it when you do, I guess. Yeah, you're right. The other skill is a single target 60% stun. That's a good range. I think damage, I haven't checked the damage, but it's a kind of average damage.
Well,
but
the damage doesn't matter. I honestly think that's his most useful skill. Like, you don't want to bring a 65 way just for stun, but that sounds like his most useful skill to me.
Yeah,
because that's a guaranteed stun against anything that's stun weak,
Yeah, and especially against Hadler, who just came out, who's weak to stun as well. Yeah, so I think his attack kit capability is pretty good and versatile. Then also he comes with that doesn't end there. It's also comes with the buff, which is basically every start of turn increases damage by 20%. Now this is a damage increase, so it works both with magic and martial. And furthermore, this stacks with Young Terry's buffs, I believe, both of the whiz buff and the magic damage buff. Obviously not the martial, so it's at least the spells will stack with that. So I think that's really good, right, Peter?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think you're right that if it's a damage buff versus a whiz buff, those are 2 different things and they stack different.
Yeah, so it's a huge damage potential, like if you think about PV as well. And then when you look at the defensive skills, he's also got very impressive kit there as well. He has an auto revive with 100% HP. I think that's the first one in the game after Hawkheart and Phoenix, but restoring 100% HP, which is quite crazy, right? And also he gets different awakening. He gets a magic bounce, although that's only for 2 turns, which is a little bit disappointing considering it's a Dark King's bounce, right? It's inferior to others. Also he gets a 20% damage reduction when HP is 30%, which is a kind of minor condition, so pretty much most of the fight. So that's, I think, really comprehensive defensive kit. Would you agree, Peter?
When I first saw that, I thought it was like Ramya's revive, where at 1 HP he goes back to full, but it's actually, like you said, like Phoenix or Hawkheart, where he actually dies and then reappears, which means that if he gets fuddled or confused, that will actually get cleansed, which is pretty important.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So it's a good way. so you almost have to see him twice, because
Exactly.
before and after. And yeah, that's on that point, when he revives and then he when he gets to his turn, he because of the 0.3, he has a buff that activates every turn, so he will have at least 20% buff, because usually when unit dies and revives, he loses everything. Think of Phoenix losing like evasions or things like that. But with Vearn, yes, you still have that damage increase, and then also these kind of passives. So that's really impressive, I would say. So it's really
Sounds
gonna,
pretty disgusting.
yeah, pretty much, if you see them in the defense, right? And of course, and I was going to mention, but Peter, there's another reason why you were planning to pull Dark King, right? Because
I was
of
gonna pull on him, and then, well, I don't want to spoil your next slides, but honestly, you've got me all confused.
yeah.
I'm pretty stupid. I just pull on the things people tell me to pull on, honestly. But
I'm sure you're
listen,
not. You're the top
I have a more
players.
important question.
What? Yeah.
When you messaged me and were like, "Hey, Peter, do you want to be on this vid?" I thought you were going to be talking about a much more important unit.
What is that?
I thought you were going to be talking about Draki.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who is this Dark King Vearn guy? Come on.
Who cares about Dark King when it's all that matters is Draki, right?
But I
Absolutely.
appreciate the fact that you put the picture on the right, because
Yeah.
now that I'm looking at him, I realize you forgot his most important characteristic.
Which is
His beard. Oh my God, look at his beard. It's
yeah,
amazing. It's a glorious beard. Like, how many
that is a beautiful
characters in
beard. Yeah.
DPT have such a magnificent beard? Not very many, I don't think.
No, that's true. Yeah. It's like
Look
it's
at
that
that
kind of
beard.
glorious beard, right?
I can
Yeah.
barely even hear what you're saying because I'm just gazing. Okay, change the slides because I can't turn my eyes away.
Okay, let's move on to the damage. So, because I think we know enough about the kit. So I've done a quick damage calculation. No, this is just a early quick calculation I did, so it might be out by a few percent, but or etc. But just think of this as guide anyway. I've compared the Kaiser Phoenix with Zoma Cycle Requiem, and these are both comparative on turn two. So with Vearn, Kaiser Phoenix buff reaches maximum already on turn two. And then the damage on a turn two versus Zoma is comparative at against the average resisting to Frizz. So that's really decent. And it's furthermore, obviously, if enemy is weak to Frizz, then it does a real large damage. So that's really powerful considering the range and how wide the AoE is. So yeah, I think that's really impressive. Also, again, pointing out that it stacks with any whiz or spell buffs, etc. So if the enemies either have a bounce or has a resistance to Frizz, then probably Calamity Wall is a better option in that situation in terms of damage point of view. And then I checked the damage for Calamity Wall. I just noticed this is the turn one damage, but still, I think the damage is around 60% or 80% of Zoma's. So it's not too shabby, but I guess it's not you don't want to be using maybe Calamity Wall all the way through. I don't know,
Yeah,
what do you think?
it's not going to one-shot everything, especially with the RTA or Arena HP and damage buffs. And then you're going to push the enemy away. So you do a little chip damage, and then they're going to heal, recover between Summer Fee and the other perks. So it's like, it does some damage, but that Calamity, like, it reminds me of Bahamut. Like, I remember I was really excited about Bahamut.
Right.
And then I tried using him, and the damage was so mediocre, even with the massive range.
Yeah.
And Vern only has a 2 move, right? He doesn't have a 3 move, does he?
No, he's turned to 2 moves only. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bahamut at least had 3. So it's like, I
But
don't know about that damage.
Bahamut was attack is really strong on turn 3, right? Because of the buffs.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if your match
only.
goes to turn 3, you've already lost.
This is true. Yeah, that's I think the biggest downside of Bahamut, that you have to keep him alive.
Yeah, the
And
Calamity Wall
not.
is more about shenanigans than actual damage, I feel like.
I feel so. Yeah,
I had
definitely.
this thought that if you put him on, for example, on GVG defense, you can max out his Calamity Wall skill and deliberately keep his Frizz skill really low to make the Calamity Wall cheaper and more effective to force him to use it. Because then if opponents try to rush you, they get knocked back, and then it becomes really frustrating for them.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean I haven't thought about that idea, but yeah, that sounds interesting, and it keeps pushing enemies away when they're expecting, kind of Kaiser Phoenix to come. Yeah, that could be really annoying. Keep pushing enemies
Yeah, if you
back, and
plus
then
10 the Calamity Wall and keep his Kaiser Phoenix skill really low, it could be really annoying to the opponent if he just keeps knocking him back over and over.
yeah, and especially if you can hit, because it's such a wide range, it may be, it might be using Calamity Wall anyway because of the range. If it can do more damage by hitting 2 units versus one with the Kaiser Phoenix, for example. So yeah, he might keep using that. Actually, I don't know how he acts in GVG, but that's a interesting idea. Yeah, with that's a possibility to look at. So yeah, let me know if you're going to try that, how that works.
It's worth experimenting. It sounds fun.
Well, yeah, start with that at least, right? Yeah, and then so think of Kaiser, so overall, I think, think of Dark Vearn as a unit with a Zoma's Cycle Requiem skill, but that can do brilliant damage. And as I say, Calamity Wall is about 60-80% of Zoma's damage. I haven't checked the Frizz damage and the other martial skill, but I know that from JP guys that Kufriz is his Frizz is like about Kafriz of a standard unit.
Do
They
you
haven't.
know what the damage is like for Frizz versus Kaiser Phoenix? Is it more against a single target?
I think it was so in the metrics, it's around like 1,000 or something. So yeah, it's a lot
Okay.
less than
Oh,
the
okay,
Kaiser
that's
Phoenix.
good because with the way the AI works, an
It
enemy
might
will
move forward,
sometimes
etc.
do a
Yeah,
single target if it's lethal and ignore
yeah.
multi.
No, I think they are far enough apart that yeah, Kafriz is obviously a very old skill, like from Dragon Lord's days and Kaleido Cat's days, right?
Old
So
school.
yeah, so yeah, so Kaiser Phoenix is a lot stronger enough that it will probably prioritize that.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the damage is very impressive. Impressive for his spellcast, I would say. So let's move on to the actual summary recap of his strengths and weaknesses. So we spoke about most of this. So he's a top Frizz DPS with a Zoma's like freeze attack range, and he also has a very MP efficient Mera, the Frizz on steroid as well. He's got a very interesting martial attack that can push, bind, stun, and wide range. So it's a very
Rarely
versatile.
bind, but
Yeah,
yeah.
rarely bind. Yeah. But also he has a revive skill 100%. I think that's one of the signatures passives, right? It's crazy.
That's
And
pretty
then
nasty, yeah.
yeah, and then damage increase box works great with a synergize as well with the revive. And the bounce reflects damage, but I think most importantly that it can reflect fuddle. Is a
Yeah, but
really
who
good.
uses Fuddle?
I do. Why not? I mean,
Everyone
everybody.
who sees Vern is gonna bring mauled. They're gonna
Yeah,
see confused, they're gonna bring mauled.
I believe so. And then yeah, but I think how a lot of the attackers also got like Baran. I see a lot of Baran with a fuddle. So it's nice that that doesn't that can be negated at least for 2 turns. So yeah, I would say that's a good feature to have. So on that point there about the confused, we already talked about it, but let's look at the weaknesses because me and Peter were saying that we both agree that his biggest weakness is that he's weak to confuse. That's a really bad weaknesses to have, right?
Yeah, and you had told me before that you think it's about equivalent to a sleep weakness, but honestly, there's only one guy in Global who knows how to use Gracklswell, and that's Nivram. Everyone else just brings Mauled for Confuse.
Yeah,
For sleep weakness, people will bring like Hawkheart or something else with can snooze
yeah.
that doesn't do any damage. But
Hmm.
against Vern, they're gonna bring Maul, who does chip damage, which is devastating for the rest of the team. So I
Yeah,
think
and
Confuse generally slightly worse than a snooze weakness, but that's just me.
yeah, possibly. And there's Damefly, and then I put Jargon there because yeah, Jargon's, we need to be careful when using Calamity Wall because it's such a wide range. If it's Jargon, he has a reactive, a confuse. So I think that will
He
work.
also has an active Confused Breath, and a lot of people will
Exactly.
ignore Jargon because of his passive. So if you ignore Jargon and think that it's just a C rank and then he breathes on you and all of a sudden your Vern is confused and nuking the rest of your team, I mean, it's bad news
Yeah,
bears.
exactly. Yeah. So I think yeah, it's definitely we need to, if you're using Vearn, you need to work around that. If you're attacking Vearn, definitely work around the confuse. So yeah, and the second point I wanted to raise was that spellcasters in general in the game right now, they suffer from bounce and solo snubs. And I give an example below there. So Santa Elena, Saruman Slayer, Mald as well, you mentioned. So yeah, there's just, I mean, Mald is worse, right? It's like it doesn't take the it can't be used frizz spell, and he can reflect. So it's a kind of worst of the two, really. So yeah,
Right.
Mald would really work against well with
Exactly.
yeah, with a Dark King Vearn, I think. And a Calamity Ward is, as we've talked about this as well, it's wide range, but it's not amazing damage in the current meta. And like to your point earlier, you bring a unit that's 65 away, and then you got the competitions like Saruman Slayer, Hadler, and all other, solo, who do like crazy like one-shot damage. Calamity Wall isn't really just good, being great isn't good enough. It needs to be amazing, right? So I don't, yes, I think that's the one downside, especially with the bind being 20%.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if they're doing a defensive team with Force Dragon or Rose Guardian, he can be super obnoxious. He can hang on the back, and he'll be extremely hard to kill because of his revive, and he keeps knocking them back and has that super crappy chance of hobbling them. Yeah, I feel like he's more like if you're manual in RTA, he'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
I hate RTA, so I don't do that, but
yeah,
he is good for smart players and people
yeah,
like spellcasters.
yeah. It's quite, yeah. It requires skills to play, right?
Yeah, I don't have those skills, so I can't speak about that. But
Oh,
he
come
is
on! I saw you on
handsome
the
bearded fella.
I saw you on a leaderboard on the high score runs. You're when you number one. Well, you're number one last time I saw you on
On
the
what?
on the last, this high score run. That
No, that's just that. Come on, you can do that over and over and over until you get the high score. That's easy.
yeah, that was, I was impressed with that. I never, I've only reached first, like 100th position once. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. Okay, so that's kind of brings me to the end of the presentation where we talk about the final thoughts on the Dark King Vearn. Should you pull, and how useful you think? But let me know what you guys think as well. Always welcome any comments on that. So where I placed Dark King Vearn is for Awakening 1, I thought he's really, really useful, even at Awakening 1, because of that revive. I mean, I would say he can even come to like GVG defense, for example. So he's useful in all kind of contents. But most importantly, I think with such a strong, frizz attack that stacks with Young Terry, his damage is really, really strong at low awakening. So I placed him great. He's not, I wouldn't put him like in the same tier as like Solo or Dai, but still one of the best freeze options for PvE, I would say. And then
Who's
on
Donkey Kong Dai?
that's that Dragon Knight Dai.
Oh,
And
there's so
then
many. You've got Donkey Kong Dai. You've got Donkey Kong Vearn. It's like you forgot which game you're playing.
yeah, actually, yeah, I just realized that it's the same short for, so Dark King and then Dragon Knight. So yeah, both DK. Yeah. So anyway, so on the Awakening 5 side, I think I struggled to put it, where to place him really. I would have put it on the top tier, but I placed it in great for two reasons. I think top tier would be too crowded if I put, Vearn, and people would be thinking, oh, in Ortega, he would just put everything in top tier and make people pull, right? So yeah, I wanted to, somebody has to fall into the great tier. And I think because of that
Right.
confused weakness and spellcaster being really, challenging in the right now, I put him, that's great. So what do you think of this rating, as
I
including
already
Vearn?
told you. I'm really pissed that you put Hadler to talk because I wasn't going to pull on him. Like everyone else I talked to was like, "Oh, Vearn at the top, Hadler easy skip," and here
Well,
you are coming out with this chart, making me regret all of my life choices.
yeah, so what this reminds me of, the hype where we had with Incarni banner. So everybody was a super hyped by Wildcard, but like I kind of read a lot of JP contents, and VTubers, so I knew Hawkard has a long kind of shell life, I guess. So yeah, so it reminds me a little bit of that. I think Vearn is both are great, but I think just Hadler feels like might have a longer play in RTA, in my opinion. But yeah.
Yeah, I max awaked my wild card and I have never used them, so I can feel the pain.
Yeah, I mean he will become useful, I think. With so many increased physical, but yeah, you still got like that, Dragonoid Baran who will one shot anything, but yeah, so wildcards struggle.
But hold on. So you've got DK Donkey Kong Dai, you've got him on the bottom on the right. Why is that? Like he's got the sure hit that will vaporize both Giuliante and Duel.
Yeah.
And he's impossible to kill. He's got so much tankiness. Like why you got him so low on the right there? Like man.
So I I don't know about you, but I haven't seen I've seen more Hadlers and perhaps Mam than Dai. Would you agree? Like in RTA?
That's true, but when I have seen him, I've seen whale teams. I like with my own whale team, I could do no damage to them. Like they were running Dai and solo and whatever, and I could do zero damage to them because Dai is so ridiculously tanky. He's got the auto heal and he has a half damage of 50%. He's impossible to kill. Like Vearn, I don't know. Vern's got the auto heal, so you got to kill him twice, but he's otherwise.
Yeah. So what I've been hearing from like JP player base is that Dai is he's good, obviously, as you everything that you said, and I reviewed him highly, but because he's weak to sleep and he's not CC immune when HP is like 50%, it was easy to shut him down with if you got snooze. So yeah, I think
that's the problem. That's the problem. It's because people in JP are smart and we're all Westerners. We're fucking stupid. That's the real problem, is because a lot of people are not smart enough to remember that if they do chip damage on Dai but don't kill him, he's gonna revive. So that's the real key.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. So a lot of players kind of worked out the way to deal with him, which is that CC him, before he's like his HP falls, so, and then take him out. Yeah, take him out at last. So that's what I've seen anyway. But I think still probably very useful in like an offense, like a PvP offense, and definitely one of the best units for PvE. So I think. Yeah, we've got a nice balance of units. All of them are great, I would say.
All right. Well, I'm still mad at you. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the video. But thank you very much for joining, Peter. It's been absolute pleasure and it's been fun. And thank you for doing this twice. I think the second time worked out a lot smoother than the first time. So I really appreciate it.
Where are you getting his animations? Is that Hoodlum in the bottom left? He's so cute.
Yeah, these are from like a app in Japan, like a chat application called Line, and they have they got these stickers. Yeah, I was able to download these, so yeah, I've been using them. Yeah,
it's lovely.
Great. Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching, and once again, thank you for Peter for joining. I hope to have you in another video sessions. And everyone, please do like and subscribe again, and see you soon.
Bye.